A legal battle is playing out over President Trump's earlier decision back in June to send the National Guard to Los Angeles. And that case is now back in federal court. Steve Futterman is live on the story in Los Angeles this morning. Remind us, Steve, of the issue that's at the heart of this dispute between the governor of California, Gavin Newsom, and President Trump.
Well, good morning, Heather. This goes back to June, as you mentioned, right after those ICE raids took place, those very controversial ICE raids in Southern California. We had these confrontations between protesters and police, and they were sometimes violent. They were quite heated, and President Trump decided to send National Guard troops, some Marines, into Southern California. Now, he said it was necessary. There was a much different feeling from state and local officials. And the issue here in this case, this trial right now taking place, is whether Donald Trump had the authority to do it. Let's take a listen to Donald Trump. This was on June 10th, talking to some military men and saying that he had the right to send troops into Los Angeles.
We will use every asset at our disposal to quell the violence and restore law and order right away. We're not going to wait 7 days and 8 days and wait for a governor that's never going to call and watch cities burn.
Now, the officials here, Governor Newsom, Mayor Bass, Karen Bass, said there was no need. The situation was difficult, but they had enough local law enforcement, state law enforcement to deal with it. And this was the response from Karen Bass back on June 10th as well.
This is just absolutely unnecessary. People have asked me, what are the Marines going to do when they get here? That's a good question. I have no idea. The National Guard that are here now have one assignment, and that is to protect one building, which is the federal building downtown. The second building, which is the federal building on Westwood Boulevard. And as far as I know, nothing has happened in Westwood at all. So this was not needed.
So you have had National Guard troops deployed in the past. It happens not on a regular basis, but regularly enough that it doesn't raise eyebrows. In fact, in January, when the fires took place here, Governor Newsom sent some National Guard troops to help with the fire officials. But to have a president deploy state National Guard without the approval of the governor, that rarely happens. The last time that took place, we have to go back to the 1960s. That was during the civil rights confrontations in the Deep South. Presidents Johnson and Kennedy sent federal troops to the Deep South to allow blacks to have protests, to enter schools, etc. So it's very unusual. Governor Newsom, in this case, it's called Newsom versus Trump, by the way. Newsom claims that Donald Trump did not have the authority. There are still around 300 National Guard troops in downtown Los Angeles, not doing much right now, but basically protecting federal buildings. And Newsom wants the judge to say, no, they are not under Trump's control. They're under Newsom's control. And Newsom says if he gets control back, he's going to recall them back to their previous posts.
Steve, so this is back in court today. When do you expect the judge to be issuing a ruling in this?
Well, Heather, it could come as early as Thursday. There's going to be 3 days of testimony, and this is a case not being judged by a jury, but rather by the judge. Ironically, this is the brother of a former Supreme Court justice who's hearing this case here in California. And we don't know if he'll make an immediate ruling. Quite often the judges take it under submission. But whatever he rules here, it's likely to make its way eventually to the U.S. Supreme Court. And I should point out, Heather, what happens here is not going to affect what happens in Washington. Washington, D.C. has a much different situation. D.C. is not a state, and the National Guard there does have more control vested into the president's rights. So he does have the right to control the National Guard in D.C. The issue here is, does he have the right to control National Guard troops in states?
Steve, thank you so much. Steve, live in Los Angeles on CBC Morning Live. Thank you again.